Welcome to Critical Health News' weekly video Bright Bite with pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
So let's talk about acne today. Acne is the quintessential disease of Western civilization. Indigenous populations typically don't have acne, and whenever you have a disease of Western civilization, the first thing you want to think about is food, likewise with acne. In terms of how acne develops, it's considered to be a multifactorial health challenge, multifactorial skin disease. There's three main factors that are involved in the formation of your typical acne comedone, which is the technical name for an acne pimple. Number one, you've got cells that are dividing rapidly and they're extruding their proteins rapidly. This creates a hardness inside the follicle or inside the pore of the skin. In combination with that, you have an excessive secretion of skin oils, technically called sebum, S-E-B-U-M. You also have a characteristic change in the quality of that oil. Skin oils or skin sebum tends to be thicker in acne patients, and this combination of thick, hypersecreted oil, excessive secretion of oils, in combination with excessive amounts of proteins that are secreted from cells, hard proteins that are secreted from cells, and rapid cell division creates a plug. Now, there's always going to be bacteria on our skin. Under normal conditions, our skin is like our digestive tract. It's a home for many billions of bacteria, and in combination with these plugs that are formed and the excessive amounts of oil that are formed, bacteria can become trapped inside the pores and the follicles, and this is what leads to the typical acne pimple. It's a combination of hyper growth of cells, excessive secretion of proteins, plus hypersecretion of oils and a thick oil in combination with bacteria. The big three create a perfect storm that ends up leading to an acne pimple. The traditional way of treating acne is by killing the bacteria. Antibiotics and such. This is the pharmacomedical strategy for dealing with bacteria. Antibiotics in combination with things like benzoyl peroxide, which can help exfoliate the skin. So killing bacteria and exfoliation are typically the typical ways to treat acne, at least from a medical standpoint. The three major drugs that they'll give you for dealing with acne, if you go to the dermatologist, are number one, antibiotics. Most typically it's going to be something like tetracycline or erythromycin. Sometimes they'll give you a topical antibiotic. Sometimes they'll give you retinoic acid, Retin A, which actually does have some positive effects on the skin. Retin A is a form of vitamin A. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. And then occasionally you get, if the acne is really severe, a very toxic drug called Accutane, which basically shuts down skin oils. You're not going to have acne if you shut down your skin oils, but when you shut down your skin oils, you also shut down secretions throughout the body. Accutane is actually a poison form of vitamin A. It's a fake vitamin A. And what ends up happening is, under conditions of vitamin A deficiency, and dermatologists will say not to take real vitamin A when you're taking Accutane, so you create a sort of deficiency of vitamin A, not a sort of, you create a literal deficiency of vitamin A inside the body, and then when you take the Accutane, the cells are so desperate for vitamin A, and the Accutane kind of sort of looks like vitamin A. They'll take in the vitamin A, and then the Accutane acts like a little monkey wrench in the secretion process of cells, and everything dries up. People on Accutane can't make tears, and they can't make secretions in their respiratory tract. They can't make digestive secretions. It just dries you up. You can't form a pimple without skin oils, and that's the positive side, but it does have some really uncomfortable side effects and has fallen into disfavor. Here's the thing, though, about acne. Because it is a food and nutritional disease in the first place, that's really where you want to work. If you really want to take care of acne, not at the symptomatic level, but at the causal level. You want to work with food, and you want to work with nutritional supplementation. Now, last couple of posts ago, we talked about the triangle of disease. And we said that all health challenges could be backtracked to the triangle of disease. Well, acne is no different. Remember, the triangle of disease is the digestive system, the blood sugar system, and then what I call the adrenal thyroid complex. So, lots of awesome nutritional supplements for dealing with acne. And when I say awesome, I mean you can get really quick results with some of these. Probably the most important of the nutritional supplements for dealing with acne is vitamin A. You need about 20,000 international units of vitamin A, which is significantly higher than the recommended daily allowance, so you got to go out of your way to get it, but it can have dramatic effects on the skin. In fact, vitamin A is your go-to vitamin for treating all skin health issues, whether you're dealing with eczema, psoriasis, dry skin, or acne. In terms of minerals, zinc is the mineral version of vitamin A. It's the go-to mineral for dealing with acne. When they do experiments on animals, if they take zinc out of the diet, one of the first things that happens is skin lesions and skin rashes. So like vitamin A is the most important vitamin for the skin, zinc is the most important mineral for the skin. You want to kind of be careful of the cheapo versions of zinc, which are you get in the drugstore. You want to stick to zinc picolinate, 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 and you want about 50 milligrams a day. That's 50 milligrams a day. So if you want to really do it correctly, it's a good idea to balance out zinc and copper. They work together. So for every 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate, you want maybe 2 to 4 milligrams of copper. It's not absolutely necessary because we get copper from a lot of sources. But if you want to be absolutely perfect about balancing out your minerals, zinc and copper go together, and elevated levels of zinc can cause copper deficiency. So take a little bit of copper with your zinc. The B complex is important as an entire complex, but some of the Bs really stand out when it comes to helping people with acne, particularly vitamin B5, which is really important for the adrenal glands, for our third point on the triangle of disease, and can have some nice drying effects for excessive sebum secretion, but you need a lot of it. You're talking like maybe 3, 4, 5 grams of it a day, which is a significant amount of vitamin B5. There's no toxicity associated with it, but most formulations, most multiple vitamin formulations aren't going to get you that much B5, and it's a little bit hard to find in food, although it is everywhere. It's hard to find those kinds of high quantities in foods. So you'll have to go out of your way to get to your vitamin B5. Again, make sure when you're taking vitamin B5 in those kinds of quantities that you're taking it with the entire B complex. You can either get a B100 capsule or you can take it your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which is a really good source of B vitamins. Another B vitamin that's important for dealing with acne is niacin, vitamin B3. In fact, some studies show that topical niacin is just as effective as topical antibiotics. So taking time-to-release niacin, maybe 100 milligrams a day, can be helpful. Also, we'll talk about topical niacin here in a second, but you can also open up a niacin capsule and mix it up in some cream and use that as a topical preparation. Also, vitamin B6 is helpful, especially for the kind of acne that women get right around their periods. They'll tend to break out along the jawline or sometimes around the chin. So you can use vitamin B6, maybe 100 milligrams or so a day. Essential fatty acids, super duper important for a couple of reasons. Number one, the skin oils that are secreted in these excessive amounts in acne patients tends to be thick. And one of the reasons it's thick is because sebum from the skin of acne patients is deficient in omega-6 fatty acids. So using omega-6 fats can help thin out your sebum, and omega-3 fats have an anti-inflammatory effect. So making sure you're getting a good essential fatty acid supplement that has both omega-6s and omega-3s. Omega-6s to thin the sebum, omega-3s for their anti-inflammatory effects. Selenium is another important mineral. It's wonderful for the body's immune system. It has anti-inflammatory effects. Look for maybe about 100 to 200, even up to 300 or 400 micrograms of selenium a day. For the digestive system, probiotics are the ultimate digestive support nutritional supplement, dietary supplement. Get on a good probiotic supplement, something that has multiple strains of bacteria, and also maybe something along the lines of 40 to 50 billion units a day. Any kind of digestive problems need to be addressed, by the way, if you're dealing with acne, and that means the elimination diet and eliminating problem foods, but probiotics can go a long way towards helping support the digestive system and support digestive health. Then sugar metabolizing nutrients, as we said earlier, acne is a form of skin diabetes. It's kind of like skin diabetes, so using chromium and vanadium, the B complex. Selenium also has some sugar support properties. Helps the body handle sugar. Sulfur can also help, MSM sulfur, that's involved in sugar metabolism. The amino acid arginine and the amino acid taurine, both of those can be helpful for helping the body process sugar. More fiber can help the body process sugar, and also drinking a lot of water can help dilute blood sugar. A couple miscellaneous things, green tea, the amino acid lysine, both of these have anti-androgenic effects. That is, They help stabilize male hormones. One of the culprits in acne, the development of an acne pimple, is the hormone DHT, which is a derivative of testosterone. It's actually like a super testosterone. And green tea and lysine, and also a carotenoid, a phytonutrient, a plant nutrient called lycopene, which is found in tomatoes and watermelon and squash and orange and red vegetables and fruits, can also have some anti-male hormone effects, can help stabilize the production of male hormones and lower DHT levels. Also, an essential fatty acid derivative called GLA can also have some nice anti-DHT properties, can help reduce the amount of this super testosterone DHT. Then there's topical ways to deal with acne. They're not going to be as fundamental as the nutritional strategies, but you can use alpha hydroxy acids to help exfoliate the skin. The neat thing about alpha hydroxy acids is they'll also help get rid of dark spots. A lot of times when people break out, as the pimple starts to heal itself, there's a dark spot that remains. Alpha hydroxy acids and also something called salicylic acid can not only help remove the dead cells and remove the oil that caused the problem in the first place and kill the bacteria that caused the problem in the first place, but they can also improve the texture and the quality of the skin as it's healing. We talked earlier about how retinoic acid, or Retin-A, is kind of like a go-to prescription remedy for dealing with acne. Most dermatologists will, when they see an acne patient, that's one of the first things that they'll prescribe. And it's true, retinoic acid is one of the most powerful ways to treat acneic skin. If you don't want to go to a dermatologist and you don't want to deal with the whole prescription process, you can use retinol, which is like a over-the-counter version of retinoic acid, but you got to make sure that your retinol is in a high enough concentration. Many retinol products, or products that claim to feature retinol, will have small amounts of retinol, and that doesn't really do the trick. 0.1% or 0.2% or even 1% retinol isn't going to be enough. You got to find a really high concentration of retinol, something along the lines of 3 or 4 or 5% retinol. The downside is both retinoic acid and retinol, while they're wonderful for dealing with acne and they're great anti-aging products and they can improve the texture and quality of the skin, if the skin is not strong enough to deal with retinoic acid, if it's not robust enough, if it's thin or if it's fragile in some way, it can cause some irritation, and it can actually cause some problems, it cause some inflammatory problems, and so people tend to resist using retinol or retinoic acid. If you can't use it, one of the ways that you can make your skin more robust and vital and strong enough to handle retinoic acid is to make sure you're getting your essential fatty acids. Lastly, niacin, or vitamin B3, as we said earlier, has been shown to be almost as effective as antibiotics on the skin, as topical antibiotics on the skin. You can make your own niacin product, topical niacin product, by just breaking open a niacin capsule and putting it in a niacin cream. It doesn't really go into water very well, but if you put it in a cream, you can kind of crush it up and make your own niacin topical anti-acne cream. If you want to go the herbal route, tea tree oil sometimes works for some folks. Lavender oil sometimes works for some folks, but they're not in the same order of magnitude when it comes to effectiveness as these other strategies, the nutritional strategies, dietary strategies, and taking care of your blood sugar and using alpha hydroxy acids and salicylic acid and Retin-A or retinol. Bottom line here is, nobody needs to have acne. When you correct your digestive problems, stabilize your blood sugar, work with your cortisol and the thyroid, and make absolutely sure you're using these nutritional supplements that we just talked about, your acne problems can start to subside almost instantly, within 24 to 48 hours, especially with the foods and the elimination diet. And within a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, your skin can be fresh and clear. That's the beautiful thing about the skin, is cell turnover. Skin cell turnover is 4 to 8 weeks. Typically, for a younger person, it's around 4 to 6 weeks. That means within 4 to 6 weeks from the time you start an anti-acne program, you can theoretically, anyway, not have any blemishes, and that's a really, really good thing. Acne can be super, super psychologically debilitating, and it's tragically unnecessary.